match of the India-Pakistan.
Shubha is in South Africa.
No, my point is, are you breathing freely now?
Yeah, I mean, that when that Richard Ghosh DRS was going on, I thought that's when we had our hearts in our mouth. I mean, ultimately it was the three boundaries of Eamon Anwar and Richard Ghosh who pulled it off. Jemima Rodriguez was good at the end. Yes, a good, you can say she anchored the innings, but it was that power play, that little bit that by Richard Ghosh that actually helped India. So yes, you're right. When that DRS was going on, had that little glove edge not been there, it could have been a problem.
Absolutely. Let's deep dive into this. So we'll start off with Richa. Magical innings, and she has done. Whenever she is there, we were just chatting about it. You just know she can turn the match around. How good is that young talent?
Yeah, and fabulous. I mean, she's your only power hitter. If you actually see in this innings, the real power hitting, 150 strike rate, she's got all the shots, that pull shot, over third man, covered. I mean, every kind of shot, and the real raw power sort of can clear any boundary. Brilliant. And Eamon Anwar, come on. I mean, you've got your packed leg side field and you're bowling wide outside off stump. Okay, but Richard Ghosh has that dominance, sort of tries to sort of, kind of impose herself over the bowlers. But great innings, under pressure, because if she got out then, things could have been dire for India. Very, very good from Richard Ghosh.
Tomorrow is the WPL auction, or rather, I should say, in a few hours is the WPL auction. Some lakhs here and there.
Yeah, I mean, add 30 to 50 lakhs for this from Richard Ghosh. Prediction: 2.5 to 3 crores. Richard Ghosh tomorrow.
Perfect. From Richard Ghosh to another youngster, we were talking about Jemima not coming good. She played an anchor innings, probably made it a little tight. In the end, recovered.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, thanks to Richard Ghosh because of that partnership. Had it not been there, I mean, player of the match has gone to Jemima Rodriguez because of that anchor innings of hers. And when you finally look at it, the 51 of 38 balls, you're like, okay, this is a match-winning effort. But that's where the Richa part is so important because she allowed Jemmy to do what she did. Having said that, she did not throw it away. That stumping again, that DRS. One thought, naked eye, out. I mean, the moment that last little bit she dragged her foot in, almost half an inch, and that saved her. Presence of mind, yes, but this consistency has to happen, not simply Pakistan and Bangladesh, but when India plays West Indies against a Haley Matthews, or more importantly against an England, that's when we want to see this consistency.
Okay, so this is not directly match related, but player of the match should be the one who changed the match.
I would
have
gone with Richard Ghosh. I mean, if you actually think who won the match, I mean, even at that point it was 10 and over. And in a women's T20, 10 and over can get critical. Especially if you have that one power hitter, because none of the others are power hitters in that sense. So if Richard Ghosh gets out, all of a sudden it becomes tricky. So it's Richard Ghosh who actually pulled it out of the bat. I mean, the last 3 boundaries, one that over fine leg and then the finishing 4, that anybody could have hit because by then the thing was run a ball. Pakistan had given up. If you see, shoulders had dropped, given up. So those 10 runs, which allowed Jemima Rodriguez to get to 130 strike rate, was not the case. It was run a ball. So that's where I think people just go by numbers rather than the impact. I thought Richard Ghosh had the impact. And I'm not taking anything away from Jemima Rodriguez.
Right, absolutely.
She played very well. But if you're saying player of the match, who's the player who's had a defining influence on that match? And that has to be Richard
Ghosh. Coming to Pakistan's fielding, we could see the Indian players also in the dugout. Maybe I shouldn't say this, but they were also smiling because
except the Sidra Amin catch.
Yeah,
I mean that was an outstanding catch. Made no mistake. Sidra Amin looked like half an inch from the ground, but from the ropes. Other than that, catch here, catch there, ground fielding, especially that boundary when 2 fielders sort of crisscrossed each other, and the ball went for a boundary between mid-wicket and long on. Come on.
Errors.
This is where I tend to think you need to believe you can win. Pakistan could have won 10 times out of 10 when you had India on the ropes. You had Harmanpreet Kaur at a very critical point when that wicket happened, and you're like, oh, what will happen to the game now? You pick up a Richard Ghosh then, and all of a sudden you're in there. Get her to play a false shot, attack, get a wicket, and that's when you start making childish errors, make some stupid mistakes. You have to believe in your heart of hearts that you will win. I don't think Pakistan believed. The moment it came to the crunch and they thought, we can win, the mistakes started happening.
Another interesting point in this kind of a pitch where you're getting a lot of spinners to bowl, have covers.
There's your man.
There's the man, right there.
Yes, hello. I have set the record right. I'm not coming back.
Congratulations.
So
My first India
because of
win
that,
over Pakistan.
you're taking a walk. Is it just because you're not coming back, so you're chilling out and taking a walk in South Africa now, outside the Newlands?
Ab- Absolutely, the way India won today, I think it. I deserve a bit of chilling now. But there's another match here. It's going to be a good match. But kudos to the Indian team. The way they chased this down, things were looking a bit dicey at one point. But
Yes.
credit to Jemima and then Richa Ghosh later down. She was promoted up in the order, and she showed why we were talking about that in the pre-match show. Why not promote Richa Ghosh? Let her play her shots. She did the exact job. And if I can ask our producer Swapnil or Rohan to just show the fans visual, I have sent it across. So uh, fans are coming out. You can see there are few coming out behind me as well. But there's another game going on. That's why the spectators have uh, put themselves inside the stadium. They want to witness another match here.
Right. Tell us about the whole atmosphere in the stadium when the match got tight, because it actually got tight, and what position Harman got out, and it got tight.
I mean, when Harman got out, it was really silent. Harman's wicket was a big one because after that, things were looking like, okay, can Jemmy play those shots? There were a couple of misfields by the Pakistani fielders in the deep mid wicket region, and which got a huge cheer from the crowd because, as I said in our pre-match show, that Indian fans had overpowered the Pakistani fans. Every shot was getting cheered. It was a festive mood inside the stadium. Beers going on. Kids are enjoying with their families. It's a great atmosphere. It was a great atmosphere inside the stadium, and I guess India versus Pakistan is such a clash that it deserves a good atmosphere inside the stadium.
Swapnil, can we get the video and see exactly how the fans are cheering? Let's show our audience that how Indian fans in South Africa are celebrating this win. Because at the end of the day, it's your first game of the World Cup, and you need to wrap it up. There you go.
This is a Pakistani fan, yeah. But look at their faces; they're so happy.
Absolutely, I think they have enough to be proud of. The team did
Yes,
bat well. But
yes.
Doriana, talking about the captaincy, probably the field placements, Aman Anwar, as we were speaking, leg cutters.
And wide outside off, when you got a packed leg side field, you've got no deep cover, you're bowling there.
Yeah.
I mean, those three boundaries, the two boundaries of the first two balls and then that cover drive. I thought the cover drive was under pressure because by then she sort of felt the nerves. I mean, two boundaries of the first two balls by Richa Ghosh.
That's where the match changed.
Exactly, and Richa Ghosh imposes herself. She's got that physique, she's got that dominance, she's got that power to be able to impose herself. I mean, have you got the fan video? If we have the fan video, can you try
Can
once more?
we, yeah, can we please play the Indian fan videos?
Okay,
I've
okay.
sent it. I've sent a few.
Okay, doesn't matter. So we'll get that ready, and the moment the show is over,
Yeah.
we'll put it together. What Shubhan Chakraborty has sent from South Africa. He'll also celebrate. Not to worry, he's not coming back. Now there's no looking back
Yep.
at all, Shubhan. But are there?
Most of the locals are coming out. And there's a great bite, I guess, in one of the videos where an Indian fan said that, Pakistan, they posted their highest score against India, highest score in T20 World Cup, and they deserved. Of course, as an Indian fan, she wouldn't have said that they deserve to win, but she said they deserve every credit of putting up a good show.
And they did. They did. Pakistan did put up a good show. I mean, 149 to the 15th, in fact, the 17th over. I thought they were very much in the contest, had a chance. If they only believed that they can win, they would have won. I mean, they had an opportunity, and that DRS of Richa Ghosh, the DRS of Jemima Rodriguez were very critical moments in the game.
Absolutely. But interesting part is Jemima has done this before. This full stretch, She has done this over and over again. So maybe because she comes out and plays that shot, probably she practices that. But because we're speaking about Pakistan, we have to talk about Aisha. Otherwise, Pakistan reaching 149 wouldn't have been possible.
Absolutely, and very good inning. Shubhan, you were there. I mean, that partnership between Bisma Maroof and Aisha, fabulous. I mean, especially Aisha, 200 strike rate, taking to the Indian bowlers. All of a sudden, a 20-run jump that over of Renuka Thakur, right? Where 18 or 19 were conceded. First ball
18,
6,
yeah.
second ball 4. Excellent batting, Shubhan.
Absolutely. I mean, as soon as Aisha came, the complexion of the game changed. From 5.6 to 11.6, there was a zero boundary scored by Pakistan, none. And after Aisha came, the complexion changed. She showed her aura, and Aisha is one of the only power hitters in that Pakistani team. There are very few. Aisha is one of them. She's young. And it was beautifully supported by Bisma as well. She showed her experience. She knew Bisma knew that she doesn't have that power game, so she kept on giving that strike to Aisha, and that's where the cleverness. That's what we were talking about when we were talking about Indian players, Indian middle orders as well. If you are not getting boundaries, get those singles and to keep the run rate going, and that's what Bisma Maroof did. And Aisha, I mean. It was a great knock. It was a great knock, especially that Renuka Thakur over where she scored 18 runs. It changed the dynamics. Of course, Radha also dropped her once, but she had done the damage by then. And when young players produce such knock, we are talking about Jemmy also today. We are talking about Richa also today. And as Trisha said, it would have been unfair not to talk about Aisha because that was one of the. It's only fourth match, but that knock was one of the best we have seen in this tournament so far.
Absolutely. Without Smriti Mandana, do you think this is the big win, right?
Of
Victory,
course, yes.
victory, yeah. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Boryana, do you think? I mean, will it be a yes or will it be a because Pakistan is not that. I will still stick to the point that Pakistan probably a lot of places we were to be blamed. Aisha's strike rate against Pacers is better.
You could have sort of gotten the slower bowlers even there. I thought Harman could have bowled one of her slower bowlers, and then when it's your time to bat, I thought Sid Ravin's catch made a big difference. Shafali Verma was going great,
Yes.
and all of a sudden you have that spectacular catch taken in the boundary, and that was quite brilliant. Yastika Bhatia again talented, gives it up. I mean, you can't when you've gotten yourself in 19, 17 of 19, and then you play that shot. You play a bigger innings. You've gotten a start. Every time you get a start, you convert because that's the whole nature of the game. And then Harmanpreet Kaur, that fall shot, trying to sweep again that edge. And all of a sudden, you tend to feel, come on, what's happening again? I mean, we don't want an Asia Cup repeat. Thank goodness that Richard Ghosh glove saved her. Otherwise, even Jemima Rodriguez was doing that runner ball, except that last 10, 15 runs, by which time Richard Ghosh had taken it away. We keep repeating this. The impact player of the match. If you really think impact, it was Richard Ghosh who pulled it out. Otherwise, it was a very average game from India.
Absolutely. And Boryada, now the concern, let me go to Shubhan first. Smriti, we did see her finger taped. Probably she'll be available for the next match, but you don't know exactly whether she's fit, unfit. Shubhan, of course, will tell us. But also Herman out of form. Against big teams, moments, Richa might fail, like it had happened with Shafali in 2020. Final, Shafali fell, we crumbled out. Shubhan.
Of course, I mean Harmanpreet Kaur. She was making sort of a comeback in this match since playing that tri-series final, and when she scored that boundary of the cow corner, it looked like she's looking in good mood. But after that, it tapered off. It slowly started to taper off. The spinners had taken Nidadar bowled a good over against her, and it slowly started to taper off. And that's where we have been talking about Harmanpreet Kaur that she can't let the strike rate dip. If we know that she has the power game. She can find the gap. She has the game, and that I guess will come with more match practice. Of course, Harman has been on and off in the last 6 7 months, and India would need Harmanpreet Kaur at her best if they want to compete with the likes of Australia, with the likes of New Zealand. Although New Zealand got a hammering from Australia, but they are still a benchmark much higher than India, I guess, in this women's circuit. So even England, the way Sophia Dunkley is playing, they are looking like a good squad. So India will depend. They will need Harmanpreet Kaur and
Shubhan, there's some internet issue at your end. We'll be moving on, Boria, but before I ask you my question, there is a viewer who's asking we should talk about India's poor fielding.
Yes, Radha Yadav, fielders, if not Radha Yadav, one of our better fielders, if not our best fielder, was making some elementary mistakes today. Yes, you had a good spell. You picked up 2 wickets. Your confidence should be at a premium. You don't make such elementary mistakes. On the field, I think all of us can get better. I mean, if you really think of our team, they need to be more athletic. They need to run harder, save some real runs. India needs to improve. Overall, good start. You've beaten Pakistan, but there are a lot of boxes that are still to be ticked.
And when we talk about boxes, I'll straight away go to Shubhan. Shubhan, have you seen Harman bowling in the nets? Because today the Pacers gave away a lot of runs, and Harman could be that spin option for us. What do you think? Have you seen her bowling? Um, Shubhan, I think the network is still an issue. Boryada, I'll come to you with that question.
Yeah, I mean, the question is Harman can bowl. Yeah, Shubhan, can you go?
She can't.
Yeah.
No, she hasn't. She hasn't.
Boryada, we couldn't hear much. We did hear she didn't
She
bowl.
did not bowl. She did not bowl, and that can be critical because if you actually take a look at that lineup, there's Harleen who's an option, but otherwise there's not too many options. So and we've seen even in the 50-over World Cup, Harman came and bowled and did get a few wickets. So and she's an option. She's definitely an option. Plus has the experience to keep calm, control nerves, and bowl a couple of overs. So Harman contributing both and it should rub off on her batting.
Absolutely.
If she sort of starts to bowl, get a few wickets, it'll rub off on her batting as well, give her confidence as skipper. So this is, let's put it this way, it was a 60% performance. Against an England, a 60 won't do. Against an Australia, 90 won't do.
Yeah,
right?
true.
So that's the kind of division. Pakistan or Bangladesh, a 60 will do. Against an England, raise it to 80. Against a New Zealand, 75. Against an Australia, even 100% is not good enough. So clearly, you've got to improve a lot more to be able to make a real deal in this World Cup.
Absolutely. Since Boryada already spoke about Bangladesh is playing Sri Lanka next. It starts in about 20 odd minutes. Sri Lanka has already won their first match. Now it's time for them to consolidate and win the.
Again, don't depend only on Chamari Adapatu. I mean, that 50 of Chamari Adapatu and Vishnu. Vishnu looked really good. Some of those shots of Vishnu, young player, looked extremely good. And then the slower bowlers. Who did the job for Sri Lanka. Now that you've won, Shubhan's trying to come back. Shubhan, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. Shubhan, I was talking to you about whether you have seen Harman bowl. Also, I would like to know, I think I didn't see Harman in the boundary lines as she generally stands. So I would like to know if she was practicing fielding and bowling in the nets.
No, unfortunately, the network is a bit of an issue. It's choppy. It happens.
It happens because he's outside. We understand. So getting back to Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, as you said, Sri Lanka, of course, wins it. They're through.
And it will be a big statement for Sri Lankan cricket. I mean, they for a long time dependent on Chamari Adapatu and Shashikala Sirivartana. Now they've moved past that. They've got a number of talented cricketers coming through the ranks. So you would want people to go beyond Chamari. Because Chamari has been the pole star, the Pied Piper. She still is, but you've got other talent coming through.
Absolutely. Do you see a contest in the second match?
I would say after the confident building boost against South Africa, Sri Lanka should come through. But Bangladesh will believe that this is one game they can win. And Bangladesh again with their slow bowlers. A lot of the slow bowlers will come into the party. It will depend on which wicket is used. It will depend on how these two teams bat, because none of these two teams are great batting units. And if you take Chamari Adapatu out of the equation, all of a sudden it becomes balanced.
Bangladesh has won the toss and they have decided to bat first. But from the Bangladesh Sri Lanka match to a very, very important event that is going to happen tomorrow, WPL auction, from India, Richa, Jemima both have actually increased their lot.
And there's Shubhanu back again. Net is good now, he
Yes,
says.
yes. I've
Yes.
walked
Yes,
almost a kilometer away from the stadium.
that's fantastic. Tomorrow is the WPL auction. Have you spoken to
Yes.
any players? How's the Josh? Let's put it that way.
Oh, Josh is extremely high, and of course, Jemima Rodriguez and Richa Ghosh, the kind of Richa, of course, she'll be in high demand, but Jemima Rodriguez, I guess she has added at least 20-30 lakhs more to her kitty after that match-winning knock, match-winning half century, and that's the kind of I mentioned that in the pre-match also that an extra 20-30 runs, quick fire 20-30 runs can change your career, change your life, and that's what is going to happen tomorrow. We I have spoken to many Ireland players, England players, youngsters, elder experienced players from New Zealand. They all are excited. They all are super excited, and you can sense the buzz inside in the press box as well, because everyone is talking about, okay, tomorrow is a big day. Tomorrow is going to be the WPL auction. In South African time, it's going to be 11 a.m. if I'm not wrong. It's 1:30 or 2:30 in Indian time. So it's going to be morning here, morning fresh start. Of course, I mean, historic day. Tomorrow is going to be a historic day. And if Chamari Attabatu can produce another great knock for Sri Lanka, then I'm pretty sure she's going to be in demand tomorrow.
100%.
Absolutely. The Indian players getting good prize money tomorrow. Absolutely, we expect them to get good prize money, but this is where I have a bit of a, you can say, a little bit of a negative question. What if someone doesn't get picked up?
Nothing
Do you
happens. It's
think
an
it,
auction.
it affects
Nothing.
them?
I mean, it will affect them because you would want yourself to be picked. It's a historic auction and all of that. But it's an auction. It doesn't determine how good you are. I mean, it's the auction dynamic. There will be some players who you tend to think, "Arey, why did she go for so much money? Why did the other player not go for?" These things will happen. You will see one player go. I mean, unless you're a Smriti Mandana,
Yeah.
you will get 3 crores or 3.5 crores. That's a deal. If you're a Shafali Verma, you get money. If you're a Richard Ghosh, you get 2.5, 3 crores. If you're Harmanpreet Kaur, you'll get a deal. But if you're a Sophie Devine or an Elise Perry, and all of a sudden you tend to think, hey, I'm Elise Perry, why didn't I get 2 crores? Why did I get 50 lakhs or a 75 lakhs? That's the auction dynamic, Tisha. It'll depend on when you come up. It'll depend on what the other teams have already picked. It'll depend on what your schema is. So a lot of these questions will come, but I'm expecting to see a number of Indian domestic players. I want to see them getting picked up. That's the real deal, not the 10 players in South Africa.
Absolutely.
But if you have to have a revolution, which is what we are talking about, it's about the Indian domestic players who will get picked up and make a fundamental difference to the sport.
Absolutely. Shubham, one of our viewers is asking, just getting back to the match a little because of the viewer, what do you think Pakistan could have done different?
They could have attacked Shefali Verma a bit differently. A bit of short balls, shorter deliveries, bouncers to Shefali Verma. Because Shefali's game is straight down the ground. V is her strongest point. If you put it on the slot, she will just take you to the cleaners. That's her game. That's her strength. And Pakistan, I guess, didn't put more bouncers against Shefali Verma that they could have done against Jemima. Jemmy doesn't have that power game, so maybe the spinners could have varied their line, flighted, given her a bit more flight to the delivery so that she goes after the big shot, and maybe could have given a catch to the deep mid wicket or deep square leg or deep long on. So that's the difference I think Pakistan could have done. But ultimately, we need to credit Indian batters as well because it was a well planned chase. Of course, a couple of blips from the Pakistani fielders, even Nidadar, when she was bowling, there was a midfielder at the deep mid wicket and she was not happy at all. She was throwing her arms around, and that is why cricket is such a crucial game. You need to win those small areas, small situations. Even if India had lost today, then we would have talked a lot about that Radha Yadav dropped catch, that Renuka Thakur over, because that was it's not a perfect game for India, as Boriada said, and I guess only improvement is the only way forward if India need to compete with the likes of England, Australia, who are the favorites in this tournament.
Correct.
Absolutely. And when Shubhani has mentioned small moments that we need to win, just before Vastakar bowled to Nidadar, Harman went and asked her to bounce, and Nidadar, their most important batter, got out on a duck. Getting back to WPL, Smriti, Mumbai captain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, again, that's the auction dynamic. I mean, all the five teams, they'll want a Shmiti. I mean, you start from a clean slate. And this is not where a Tendulkar becomes an icon player or a Ganguly becomes an icon player, or it's not being given. So anyone can pick Shmiti and you would want. Having said that, you tend to think that Mumbai local player, Mumbai Indians, they would go all guns blazing and break the bank for Shmiti. Like JSW is expected to break the bank for Jenny because she's a JSW athlete. So these are kind of permutations, combinations, but what makes a Saurav Ganguly not spend an extra crore for Shmiti as director of Delhi Capitals?
Absolutely.
So if I was in, a Delhi Capitals camp, would I want Shmiti? Yes.
Absolutely.
So anybody would, right? Or Royal Challengers Bengaluru for that matter, right? So it's difficult. Let's put it this way: one, Shmiti; two, and I'd say more to Richa than Harman; three, maybe Harman; four, oh sorry, Shmiti, Deepthi,
Yeah.
Richa, Harman, my top four. And at number five, I would actually get somebody like a Sophie Devine or an Elise Perry if she bowls, or even a Chamaria Debato. These are,
I think you're forgetting a very important name, Marizani Cap.
Marizan Cap and Nat Brunt. These are huge names. Any Nat Brunt.
Sophie Eccleston. Sophie Eccleston is going to be a big, big player in this auction.
Yes, but
But you don't get the batting, Shubhan. I think he's putting the all-rounders because you
Yeah.
get both the sides covered.
See, otherwise,
Right.
even a youngster like an Alice Capsey, I mean, the kind of talent she has, she's winning matches. And Amelia Card, winning matches. There are many around. Haley Matthews will go for
Yeah.
a significant amount of money.
Haley Matthews.
Ashley Gardner will go for a
That's
significant
got
amount of money.
Grace
So,
Harris of Australia is going to go big. That's what I'm predicting.
Alia McGrath will go for a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
So these are important players in the mix. So one needs to, and there's the calibration. All you have is 12 crores. You cannot just say 3 crores and 3.5 crores for two people and then like what the hell is going on. So that's what makes an auction interesting. Shubhan will join us from South Africa. The two of us will be here. Trisha's wearing her favorite East Bengal colors. Tomorrow it will be different. So, and we're going to start at 2 o'clock.
Absolutely, we have to, because we have already taken half the show for WPL and there's so much more to discuss that we have to come back tomorrow,
Done.
2 o'clock. Watch along with us. Enjoy every moment
And
of
Shubhan,
the
have a
auction.
good dinner. Have a good lunch, dinner.
I deserve it. I deserve it. This is my first. This is my first India win over Pakistan. I deserve it.
You absolutely do. Absolutely do. Have a blast. Enjoy yourself. Go watch some cricket and then tomorrow join us for the WPL show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Shubhan, for joining us, and thank you all of
Thank
you
you.
for joining us. Join us tomorrow again. Keep supporting Red Sports. Keep joining us tomorrow 9 a.m. Of course, we will come back with some sports news and teeing off with Red Sports. Then we will start our WPL coverage, and that will go on throughout the day. Like we had done IPL auction coverage, WPL auction coverage will be absolutely with the same
And
enthusiasm.
just my last point, folks, please take a listen and just check for yourselves how many media houses have sent their representatives to South Africa. Take a look. How many media houses sent their representatives for hockey? How many media houses sent their representatives to all of these? Take a look. Thank you very much for watching.
Thank you.